Okay, sailing prepper here. Now, let's talk about what might just be happening over the next so many months. Well, first of all, we're going to get more crackdown. They've already shown it. There's a lot of things you can't mention. Even though it's not controversial, just a difference of opinion. And if you disagree with something about certain things, they're going to take you off and block you and all that other stuff. Soon they'll be arresting you. They're talking about possibly forcing people to take the shot. Definitely manipulating people when it comes to work. And yeah, there's also the talk of putting a chip in the shot. And I'm sorry, I can't get that because, well, anybody who's been watching me knows. There are some people out there that are military, in the military, military split. It could be a civil thing. There's a thing with Texas, and that could cause issues in this country. I don't blame Texas or the guys in the military. But yeah, we might have a civil war coming up. And maybe that's what we need. Can we please wait till I get on my boat and just go bye-bye? But I don't really want to be in the thick of that if I can help it. But, I got to do what I got to do. So, beyond all that, let's talk about radios. Now, there's walkies. They're short range. They're okay if you're within a couple miles of each other, depending on how far they go. Then you get other people that like CBs. They're pretty good. They go a decent range. And you could probably get somebody on it within radio distance that'll help you out. This is what I prefer and what I want. And the reason I want it is because I have a boat. And why it will help me. I want a ham radio. Why? Because I can talk to anyone around the world. And being on a sailboat, for me, that's a good thing. I'm looking at a lot of different alternative ways to make fresh water out of salt water. There's only, other than running an osmosis filter, which is about $2,000-$3,000, but I already got one. But in case that breaks down for a second in an emergency, the only thing I can think of is distillery. Apparently a distillery can make me fresh water out of salt water. And at the end, I got salt. Sea salt for food. So I'm thinking of using a distillery for water. It's as simple as that. I could probably get one. And I'll bring that on the boat. They got some that you could just put on a stove and it works. And I just so happen to have a stove. Or possibly an electric hot plate, and I can pick that up at the dollar store. Now, to the fact my boat will have propane and electric, that means I can use it. So, now that we got that out of the hair, a little bit of funniness here. I apparently tried to make this video several times, and this video was, I kept hitting the photo and wondering why it kept going off on me after 2 minutes of me talking. Didn't realize it. I had it on photo and not video. People make mistakes. So, with that as an ado, I'm also planning on doing a little bit of banking through my Cash App or PayPal. I'm thinking Cash App first because it's easier for me to set it up than through PayPal. I mean, I can set it up through PayPal, but I have to get the card first, the debit card, which I plan on doing. I've been having issues with my bank. I go to work, I go to the Debbie snack, or not the Debbie snack, but the little snack machine, and I get something for lunch, soda and something. and all of a sudden my accounts froze. Well, they've been doing it over the last 6 months. Now you got to understand, I've been with this bank for over 11 years, over a decade. And all of a sudden, in the last 6 months, they started freezing my account here and there and then unfreezing it on me. And I have to call them sometimes and make them unfreeze it. Here's the thing. If they're going to freeze my account like that, then I've got an issue. Okay? Their little guys see the little Debbie snack and go, oh, or not Debbie snack, I don't know why I call it Debbie snack, but the soda machine or the little snack machine. And they go, oh my, this is unusual, and I do it all the time. So it's like an every night thing or almost every night thing or whatever, a few times a week. Well, I'm at work. You get a dollar, something treat just to eat, fill my belly while I'm at work. And the machine is so fine, it normally runs the cards, but then like 4 or 5 times it hasn't. And they tell me, well, it's because you ran it on this machine, this little snack machine, and for whatever reason they're finding this suspicious, Well, the suspicious here is quote unquote kind of a little ridiculous. So I'm thinking, never had any trouble with the Cash App. And I'm thinking there's a way to do it where you set it up so that I can get direct deposit through the Cash App. And I do have the debit card for the Cash App. So I'm just going to switch everything over to the Cash App and to hell with my bank account. And, for those of you that like the Cash App, and when I put something on here about the Cash App, that seems to be a thing. Okay? So a little bit about the Cash App. Apparently you can run it as a bank account. When I figure that out, I'll put a little bit more on it. And maybe I'll show you guys how it's done or something like that. But there are videos out there that do show how it's done, so I really don't need to. But I will be doing that. And I'll at least tell you if it works good or not, or if I have any issues. Okay, now, with that, it'll also allow me to do other things. With my bank account, I've never been able to do the online banking with them to where I can see what my stuff is just by looking online. The Cash App, I can do that. It's just the way the online banking is set up through my bank. So the Cash App, it tells me exactly what's in my account, when it's deposited, and all that good stuff. And I plan on doing that. So, I'll tell you how that works. And beyond that, I'll turn it over to Nate. So tell me, isn't getting a ham radio a little expensive? And what about the test that you have to take? Isn't that difficult? Melvin? I bet you it is. Well, actually, Nate, it isn't. You're talking roughly, for a ham radio, you can get a cheap one that's halfway decent for about $100 and some, and it's about the same price to get your ham license. On and off, depending on if you want the starter or beyond. And it's not that difficult to actually take the test. It's actually a fairly easy one. Roy taught me all about that when I was younger. He never really got too into it because I never really put much of an interest into it when I was younger. But hey, so yeah, you have, ham radios are like that. So Nate, tell me, are you still feeling about staying in the United States these days? Well, you know me, I'm just a procrastinating shark. I don't really like anything new. I can't stand change. So yeah, I'll stay here in the U.S. Yes, it's change and change is going on, but it's change I can't do anything about. But yeah, I'll stay here. Well, Nate, it's like I tell you, sometimes it's better to leave. As a matter of fact, there are ways to leave, multiple. But you have to get out of the country these days. You're probably going to have to go by sea. That's probably the best way to do it. No taking planes. I know you're a shark afraid of water. But beyond that, still, there are countries that will let you in. And as far as freedoms go, I will say this. I'm going to quote George Carlin. America's freedoms? We've only had privileges. Just take a look at the Japanese in the 1940s. And that's what happened to them. Yeah. Japanese Americans, that is. They were still Americans. But, yeah, Nate, I know you never actually go anywhere outside of the coast around here because you're too scared. You're only in the water because you have to be. You should try to get like maybe SeaWorld or somebody to bring you in because you need someone to take care of you. You hate the ocean. You're afraid of any kind of sea monster or anything, so you know how that goes. And you don't like dark water, as we all well know. Either way, yeah, he's a little pansy of a shark. But it is what it is. Anyways, in the famous words of Jesse Ventura, when the government lies, the truth becomes a traitor. And the famous words of one of my favorite comedians. We don't have freedoms and we never have. We've only had privileges. Alright. And by the way, this country hasn't been free long before I was born and long before any of you were born. It was somewhere in the early 1800s we started losing what little freedoms we did have. And that was only for white people anyways. So, Sailing Prepper signing out. Do you always have to get the last jab in? Yeah, I hate change. Yeah, I hate dark water. But you don't always have to do that. Land lover.